Isn't it crazy how hot it is?
Oh, okay, good. Thank you.
I realised I brought it off.
No, it's good.
Maybe I should put that up on the stage. Yeah, sure.
Can you put that back, please? Thank you. But we might put it back on the stage.
Welcome everybody. Can I ask you all to move in a little bit closer? Firstly, I just wanted to acknowledge how many people are here. It's wonderful to have you all here to come and fight the good fight.
There's nothing has really changed. In fact, it's getting worse and worse. And our choices are being taken away over and over again. You know, I never really imagined myself as a home birth mum. I didn't really relate before I had my first baby to the idea that I would have a home birth. I merely turned up here in 2009 because I believed that women had the right to choose, and whether I would have ever chosen a home birth or not had really nothing to do with why I came in 2009 with my 6-week-old baby in arms. I believe that women are the ones who have the power and the ones who should be able to choose. And I just, that's what I've always stood for and what I stand for today, and that's why I come. There are so many different ways that women can choose to birth, and I think that we should all have access to everything. And I think the sad thing about the way that home birth has become more accessible for some women is that it's rubber stamped one option once again, and as we all know, so many women who choose home birth now are in the situation that I was in when I had a birth centre birth, and that right at the end they get risked out, which is what happened to me at 42 and 2 weeks whilst I was in labour and in that vulnerable state, labouring away when a doctor requested my presence in birth suite and told me that if I just had a CTG I could go back downstairs. Well, that never happened, despite the fact that my baby was fine. And I had what many women experience, is that cascade of intervention and that loss of control. For me it was, I felt like I had no choices. Many of you know, but some don't. I'm a doctor's wife, and because I am a doctor's wife, I felt very much the burden of being good. I wanted to be good. I didn't want to be a bad woman. I didn't want to be a difficult patient, and I kept consenting so that I could be good. And I consented all the way until I had surgery for my baby. And I came out the other side, and I don't honestly thought, because I think my sister had an unwanted cesarean too, and I honestly thought that maybe she just had unrealistic expectations, and that I assumed that if I needed a cesarean that I would be okay with it. And that was, I guess, the big problem, is I never needed that cesarean. My baby came out beautifully healthy. There was nothing wrong with me. A little time and a little love wouldn't have helped. And so I guess I understood myself enough that I knew that I would never not be able to be good in the system, and that's why I chose to step away. And the problem is now for many women like me, as our choices decrease in the amount of midwives who are willing and able to stand with us without being reported and without being victimised decreases. The range of choices just isn't there, and I feel for all the other women. I've now had 2 home births with my 2 second babies, much to my husband's horror at times. But he does support me, and he does support my right to choose. But there are so many women who are coming up through the ranks now who don't have either midwives to support them. And I think I do actually understand why some midwives aren't willing to sacrifice their careers, but it shouldn't be asked of them. It shouldn't be asked of them that they sacrifice their mortgages and that their livelihoods should be constantly under threat. That just shouldn't be part of the equation. women have the right to choose, and their choice, and it's a way of punishing women, really. I think because women often do have compassion for their midwives, and as the same as many midwives have compassion for their women, and it just shouldn't be a thing that they cannot get access to this kind of care. So that's why I'm here. I'm really grateful for all the other women who've come here today to stand up and say that this is important, that women's choice is important regardless of what you choose. So I thank you for coming. We're meeting with the Chief of Staff for the Minister for Health in a little while, and we will be talking to them about choice, and women's choice, and we're not really going to be talking to them about all the issues around midwifery so much, just really about how the legislation that changes constantly around that just keeps impinging on women's choice, because that's really the key thing. If you get women's choice and make it so that women can choose, then all the other things fall into line, I think. But thanks for having me, and I'll pass you back to Britt.